G'day, Josh here with 100 overall Ray Allen. And we can see here that his 3-point stat is 99 with a boost of plus 18. So it's currently at 117. But I'm going to sub in some players that provide additional 3-point boosts, like Klay Thompson with his plus 2. I've also got Nash that has a plus 1 boost that will replace Davis with. So this will lower my overall, which isn't ideal for showdown matches, but it does help me in terms of maximizing this 3-point boost. We're going to see how high we can get that Ray Allen. So that's as good as I can get it. That's as many 3-point boosts as I can include, like that plus 4 from Dirk Nowitzki. And if we have a look now, it is plus 24. So his base 3-point stat, including boosts, is now 123. You can see some of the other players here, like I've got Simmons was 114. We've got LeBron James actually has a boost of plus 26, which is insane. KG has that plus 26 as well, which actually puts him up to 108. And David Robinson with a plus 29 boost has a 3-point shot of 99. So this is crazy. This is the most sort of OP boost in terms of 3-point shooting you can get, as far as I'm aware. Maybe if I had that the New Year's Steph Curry, I think he has a plus 4 3-point boost, that would jack it up a little bit more. But I actually found out, and this is a little bit disappointing, that 80% is the maximum you can hit anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Now I'm going to search for a second match here so we don't have to waste time. It'll find it in the background as we're playing this first showdown match. In fact, this opponent here has that showdown Curry, that New Year's Curry, as his point guard, so it's a nice 3-point boost there. But yeah, it doesn't actually, 123 doesn't matter. 119 was fine, because as we will see here, when I do hit a 20% release, it still caps out at 80%. So I was having Ray Allen hit 80% when I had him at 119 or 100, whatever it was, prior to me pumping him up to 123. So a little bit disappointing, but that being said, it's certainly better than the way that it was. The positions had weird caps. The highest rated position was a power forward, and it maxed out at a 76. Now all positions appear to be able to get up to 80%, which 80% essentially is 4 out of every 5 wide open shots that you take from within range are going in. And I'm pretty happy with 4 out of 5. It's not exactly a sim, and it's not exactly an arcade, it's somewhere in between. So I don't expect it to be like real life where you're only hitting 50 or 60% of your 3-point wide open shots, but I also don't expect it to be an arcade style game where if you get a perfect release, you just make it 100% of the time. That would take a little bit of the strategy out of it. It would just literally just become highest 3-point stat and hit green every time. It'd get very boring. And as you can see, my style of play in Showdown is already verging on boring, because my offense is essentially the same every time. How many Showdown seasons are we in? This might be our 5th Showdown season, 4th or 5th. The first 2 I finished top 1000. The third one I ran out of time at the end. I mistimed it and finished just outside the top 1000, and then I took a break on the last one, and now I'm grinding this one again. In fact, I've just hit Superstar Tier 1s, and I'm currently ranked 80th in the world, so I don't think I'll have an issue getting the top 1000s again this season. And I completely lost... Oh, no, sorry. Okay, so talking about my style of gameplay being a little bit boring. So I've played a lot of Showdown. That's what I was getting at there. I've played a lot of Showdown, and through trial and error and repetition, I've discovered that given the 3-point shot percentage, especially now that it caps out at 80% for a shooter like Ray Allen, the best thing to do is just to chuck up 3s as often as possible, because you might miss them slightly more often than a mid-range shot, but the fact that every shot that goes in is worth an extra point makes up for that. So the only 2-pointers I take now are wide open fast break dunks. If I'm not getting a fast break dunk, I'm shooting a 3. It's just, for me, the way that makes the most sense to maximize the amount of points I'm getting every quarter. And as often as possible, I'm shooting with Ray Allen because he has the highest percentage. So all the little sort of super small details, the little 1%ers as they call them, they all add up. And over time, when you're playing hundreds of Showdown games, an extra couple of points here and there can essentially turn a loss into a win every now and again. And that certainly helps when you're grinding lots and lots of games. This one's going to be up against a 99 overall, so this will be a little bit interesting. We can see that Ray Allen was a beast in that first game. Even though his stats were capping at 80%, he made 18 points, I think, which is unreal for one player to do. Really, really nice. So the only sort of fun that I get to have really with Showdown games, given that my offense is basically automatic, is defense. And that's where it can be really challenging, and that's what I really enjoy, the challenge of getting stops, especially given that the AI shooting is a bit busted in that, as far as I can tell, they pretty much always get perfect releases and they never seem to recognize a defender in their face. So they're always having open shots, which means that it can be quite frustrating when you play really solid defense and they splash a shot right in your face anyway. Sometimes that does want to make me throw my phone, but you learn to deal with that. And you pick up strategies like trying to steal and timing blocks really well. I've gotten quite good at timing blocks, especially clutch blocks. So when because he has the clutch Simmons as well, so when his clutch Simmons, when his clutch is activated, I will play slightly differently. I'll back off him a little bit. I'll either try and keep him away from the clutch zone, or if I see him heading straight towards it, I'll sort of get in front of him and try and time a block. And quite often that can be successful. Sometimes you get it perfect and the ball just like goes to the left or the right, or even passes through the arm, it seems like, which can be a little bit frustrating too. Just like those rebounds when you have two tall guys in the air and somehow a player from the back gets it. But that's all right. There's lots of little quirks, but the game is getting there. I don't agree with the 20 stamina for Showdown for the cost, but there are other positives, such as it only taking 1.5 mil fans, and you can see there, actually, look, I timed that perfectly and somehow I don't get the block. Anyway, it is what it is. But no, there's lots of progression being made, and all the frustrations that I still personally have and that the community have, I'm certainly passing on to EA quite regularly, keeping it in the forefront of their minds. I don't know what they're working on in terms of big picture stuff for the future, and what their to-do list currently looks like in terms of fixing current broken stuff. But hopefully some of the feedback that me and the other Game Changers passes on is making its way in there. And in fact, the auction house tax just got reduced from 20% to 10%, which is fantastic news. And another thing I noticed while grinding today, I had a network timeout in the middle of a Showdown quarter, which normally would be an instant loss, but I logged back into the app and I was actually able to resume my quarter. And although Simmons' clutch timer had been reset, I didn't instantly forfeit the quarter and lose 20 stamina and 10k fans, and I went on to actually win that quarter, which is fantastic. So I really appreciate that they're implementing one chance in terms of network timeouts like they do in League versus League, which is something that I have been requesting for a while. So it's great to see that that's now into the game. And once again, Ray Allen, even though he's capping it at 80%, another 18 points from him. He's an absolute beast. So 3-point stat is pretty important in Showdown at the moment, guys. Make sure you're using those boosts if you can, that's for sure. Thanks for watching this video. Appreciate all of you guys spending the time to check out my content. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more.